Welcome into Wideside Sports. Randy Fraley sitting alongside, as always, my partner in crime, Guy Buttersnaps.
Guy Buttersnaps, huh?
Yep.
Okay. I'm cool with it.
I can come up with a bunch of different ones.
Let me hear your next one.
Ichabod Poon.
That one's better.
That was my name.
It sounds like the Key and Peele names when they do like the East-West games.
Oh my God. But you could do a minute bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Florida State.
Florida State.
Oh God. I had another incident at the gas station today.
This is the same one?
No, yeah, same one. Yeah, same guy, same guy too. I don't know if we have a friction now between the two of us.
Possibly.
So I go in, I get me a drink, I get my wife a drink, and I'm paying at the counter, paying some cash. Like 38 cents comes back, and there's a little bowl by the thing. It says donations for Ukraine, and I said, just go ahead and put the change in that bowl. And he goes, thanks. And I went, I'm just trying to do my part, man. You know, like, and he goes, that probably helps a lot. And I kind of like walked away. I'm like, is he being sarcastic the whole time? Like, he must have not liked my comment. Yeah. I was like, man, my bad. How
much money you put in the fucking bowl, pal?
Yeah, like 38. Come on.
We all know you're keeping this. Yeah. You're not sending it to Ukraine.
This is a tip jar.
I mean, you're technically just, you collected money for people that, falsely. So you guys can buy a Kit Kat later.
But that's what he was like. He's like, yeah. I'm like, and I didn't say anything back. I'm like, and I got out to my car. I'm like, he was being sarcastic the whole time. When he said thanks, I was like, what do you want me to do? Here's $100. It's a gas station.
Yeah, we know you're ripping it off.
Yeah, if I would have paid with a card,
taking all this and buying locks.
Yeah. They match the rest of the locks now. I did notice that.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's all the same.
Had to redo everything because they ran out of keys.
Yeah, but I was just like, come on, man.
Well, it seems like that's one of those people like, oh, you're not going to eat all that? There's kids starving in Africa. Yeah. Well, what do you want?
You want me to send it over there? It'll be spoiled by the time it gets there.
They need to find their own food. For crying out loud, you're living in a desert.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go somewhere else.
I'll go somewhere else.
We don't live in the deserts here.
Yeah.
We did. Well, there's one, and that's where we gamble.
Yeah.
We don't live there.
Nobody lives there.
I mean, relatives that live there, but,
I've never been to Vegas.
Me neither.
Okay.
I don't really care to go.
Yeah, I don't have enough money to spend there.
I don't understand. I can gamble in Ohio, which I'm not a big gambler.
Yeah.
I don't really go to casinos.
No, I'm not either. Like maybe like if I would go, I feel like I would want to go either during like March Madness or like the playoffs and just sit in the sports book room. You know what I mean? Like, go like that first weekend of the March Madness and like Friday, Saturday, you know what I mean? Like hit those and just sit in the sports book room. Like I could do that.
But then when FanDuel opens, you just sit at your house and do that.
Exactly. I don't really want to fly out there just to sit there.
Yeah.
I got an uncle and he's like, oh, you got to go to Vegas. You got to watch a show. I'm like, I'm not going to go to Vegas to see a nipple. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, you got to go see one of these shows. I'm like, okay. He's like, the weirdest thing happened. He goes, it's me, my wife, my sister, and her husband were watching. It's supposed to be like a really big, fancy burlesque show.
Yeah.
And he goes, there's these tables, and you sit with random people. He's like, they sit you down. It's like a big ass table. There's like 12 people at this table. Yeah. He goes, so after the show, they bring us halftime or whatever the show. They bring out
halftime.
Yeah, I don't know, intermission.
Lady Gaga comes out and performs.
So they bring them their meal. He's like, we're sitting down and we're eating our meal, and one of the ladies comes out, and she sits on this old guy's lap, and he goes, I didn't think it was one of those shows. He goes, so I started listening to the conversation, and he goes, honey, I'm so proud of you, and she goes, thanks, Dad. He's like, I'm like, your dad comes and watches you do these burlesque shows?
Well, they're not nude.
I understand that, but it's still kind of weird. It's like, it's different than like watching her ballet recital.
Dancing with titty tassels.
Yeah. And I'm like, he goes, I almost did like a choke on the food after I heard her say, thanks, Dad. It was like, what the hell's going on? I'm like, well, I don't really want to go watch that now that, their dads go.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
thank God he found that out. And he's like, boy, look at that girl's tits.
Yeah, exactly. Like smacking the table, hooting and hollering.
I'm going to have to hide this erection when I stand up.
Got to place the napkin over top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like a flying ghost.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's, and I have a lot of people tell me like funny Vegas stories. Like you've heard the story of our mutual friend that goes to Vegas twice a year.
Yeah.
Behind like the vending machine story.
Oh yeah.
Like that one's a
that's a good story.
A good story. Yeah, like it's, he thinks that somebody's dead and he ends up going around the corner there and they're having sex. They're just laying on the ground. Like that's
just trying to get some ice.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's a funny story.
You want a soda?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure, he'd probably hand him a pop, but, but everybody who goes always has a funny story when they come back, but I don't really feel like paying that much money to have a funny story.
Yeah,
like,
I can make an ass out of myself anywhere,
and I don't have to spend that much money to do it. Just give me a couple beers.
I'm pretty funny myself.
I like to think I am.
A lot of times I'll just laugh.
Yeah. Just things I would say.
Just things that I would say in that situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Or I just break out laughing about some conversation that me and you had a week ago, and I just like plays back in my head of like, what the fuck?
I had an incident in school where I'm in the classroom and the kids are working on something independently. I'm sitting at my desk. I'm on my computer. Something pops up on the screen and it reminds me of something that we had talked about, and I start smiling and laughing. And one of the kids goes, "What are you laughing about? There's nothing happening." I'm like, nothing. I'm like, God, I look like a freak now. I just sit at my desk and smile while kids work.
Well, that's why I sent you that, because I had several laughs of why I sent you the Batman thing with him in his fucking squirrel suit.
Yeah.
Of like, you're a jackass.
Yeah.
And we're not going to go down this again. But in my mind, a couple times of just like the Clayface guy, I've just said, I can't see. And like both had the same idea of like he just had clay draped over his face for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, I get bad about remembering shit that's funny and then laughing in non-funny situations.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets me a lot.
I always try to, because it'll hit me in spots where I start daydreaming in a serious like meetings and stuff, and I'll just like, I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention to this shit you guys are talking about.
That happened to me a couple weeks ago. We had a teacher in service, and it's an all-day in service. It's just teachers are in there, and there's a speaker, and they're talking about crisis prevention. Basically, if a student happens to, flip out, what do you do, and what do you do with the other students? And it's this big, serious talk. Well, I'm on my phone, and I'm scrolling on Twitter, and something on there, and I read a tweet, and I laughed. And the speaker... And it's not like just like a chuckle. Like I fucking laughed. Like it was an out loud laugh. And instantly in my head, I went, "Oh, fuck." The speaker stops talking and he goes, "Something funny back there?" And I went, "Yeah, Twitter." And because I didn't want to lie. And he was like, "Well, could we please pay attention?" And I'm like, "Yeah, my bad." I'm like, fuck, I'm getting like eyes from my principal. Like, come on, man. Like, I'm like, sorry.
Hey, be better at speaking.
Yeah, it's like
command
an
audience.
The bad part is I've already taken this.
Yeah.
Part of my job is to deal with that. I'm one of the people who've already taken this course before. It was just for everybody else. I've already listened to all this before. So I'm not paying attention a whole lot. But it was just like something funny back there. And I'm like, oh.
What do you do with the other students? You got to neutralize the threat.
Yeah. Well, it was more the thing is like, it was such a quick reaction that I didn't think to lie.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think to say nothing. I was like, yeah, Twitter. Fuck, I shouldn't have said that. I should have just said nothing and apologized. It's like, God.
Would have just been one of those. I was just thinking about this time where I ended up tackling the whole room. I didn't know because they were just sitting there and this guy was out of hand. So I hit him and then I just tackled everybody. keep them in their place. But it's always nice, too, when people come in and speak about shit, and it's like, yeah, you've never been in that situation because you're saying shit that doesn't work.
No, exactly. And every classroom has a panic button. You know what I mean?
What?
So, yeah.
You have a panic button?
It goes down to the office, and then it's basically, hey,
so it's just
we
like a
need
light
help.
that starts like
it's a
like a red strobe light starts
basically
blinking.
You hit the button, which is stupid. They put it by the door, so kids accidentally fucking bump into it all the time. And basically it just goes to the office, and then the the secretary in there will be like, everything okay? Do you need any help? And then it's like, nah, kid bumped it. It's like, well, it's almost like a cry wolf situation. If something's really going to go on, nobody's going to say anything.
I'd like a panic room.
Yeah.
For myself.
I'm in a glass case of emotions.
Yeah. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Kids are going to struggle. If we taught them well, they'll handle it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I run into that stuff all the time where I'm in a situation where I smile and it's not the appropriate time to smile. Funerals are the worst.
Oh, yeah.
Because, especially when, the guy's up there doing his thing and he's talking and, celebrating the life or whatever. And
well, they're not.
My mind.
They're putting on a performance.
Yeah. And my mind is thinking about other things and I'll smile. And then, if it's so bad, it's like, oh, that's not good. And, wedding, I'm pretty bad at weddings too.
Yeah.
Especially if it's one wedding that, if I'm not a part of the wedding, it's bad. But my cousin got married, and it's me and my uncle that and his wife, my sister, and my mom were all sitting in this pew together. Well, in front of us are very distant relatives that are trashy enough that my wife's never met them. Like, you know what I'm saying, though? Like, people that you're like, nah, we don't go to that part of them, Our extended family's really extended. So the wedding's almost done. The pastor is doing the final closing prayer. Everybody has their head down. It's fucking quiet. These very old couple in front of us, still flip phone era, they're like, get a picture. And they're being really loud. And like our whole pew is shaking at this point because they're like, get a picture. And like the husband's like, my phone's not even on. So then he turns his phone on. Well, it's an old Motorola phone. So it makes the noise, doo-doo-doo, you know what I mean? And then it says Motorola. And I'm like, the guy's fucking praying right now. Let's calm down. And then he doesn't have the camera sound off. So you hear the and at this point, like, I'm just rolling. And they're getting loud. They're like, did you get a good one? I'm like, and then finally it ends. But I'm like, good God, people, just wait till the end and be quiet.
What? Like wedding, like your wedding. Obviously I just went to the ceremony and just, show up.
Yeah.
Look cool.
Of course.
Tried to slide in the back pew of, hey, we'll get this in here. I'll see you guys walking and I'm out.
Yeah.
And then they dismiss people starting from the front. I'm the last fucking person out of the church.
Yeah.
Of like,
you should have sat in the front.
This.
It would have been better.
So I could get out of here.
It would have been even better if you walked up and sat by my mom. Like, hey, sorry I'm late.
Well, that's the funny thing is because I always pick a spot of like, hey, I'll just be out of the way here in the back or whatever. And it ends up that I'm in a spot where like pictures get taken from. And I'm in a bunch of them.
Yeah, you are.
And because I had this one at the course I worked at before. And it was a big wedding party. It was a reception.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a bartender that she was working. And then when it'd get busy, I'd just jump in there. And then I just kind of bullshit with people.
Yeah.
And then after they're done, like they took pictures and then they came in to pay the bill like the next day or 2 days later or whatever. Like they looked at all the pictures and everything. And they're like telling the girls like, Randy is in every single picture of like, I was just standing. Hey, you're taking pictures. Well, that almost happened at the basketball game.
Oh, yeah.
I was just standing on the court and you're like, hey, move out. You're going to be in their picture for their sectional championship. I was like, hey, I wasn't bothering anybody. I'm just standing here.
So after my wedding, after they closed it and we said our IDs and all that, one of my friends was going and pulling up her vehicle so we could leave. Well, as he's walking out, somebody's walking in and we both know this person. And he's like, hey, what's going on? He's like, is the wedding started yet? He's like, yeah, it's over. He's like, fuck. He didn't even see it. He told me when he went to the reception and told me, he's like, I thought it started at a different time. He goes, he's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, it's no big deal. But yeah, just funny shit like that.
Yeah, I get there. I got to your wedding on time. I talked to your uncle a little bit before he did his walk and just sat down. And then I will give credit to your photographer. Like she was on it.
dude, that
like
was
she's like crawling over pews and like like laying down on the floor,
like trying to get like Spike Lee angles.
Yeah.
That lady either one has clinical ADHD or she really likes cocaine. She was
everywhere,
90 miles an hour all the time.
She was everywhere.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know what normal. I don't know what normal photographers take. She took like 800 pictures.
Yeah,
and then you know, I'm not paying for 800 fucking pictures. But one scene of the wedding, there's like 40 pictures of that scene. I'm like, why did you take so many? Like 10. I could see 10. You know, just to make sure nobody's blinking.
Well, it was at a point where I almost took my phone out and started taking pictures of her taking pictures. I was like, I think he would enjoy this later because he's not paying attention now.
Yeah. So we told her when we met with her, we told her that if anybody comes up to her and asks for pictures, politely tell them no because we would have to pay for them. Right. So her parents go up to her at the reception and her dad goes, hey, can you get a picture of me and my wife? And she goes, yeah, no, sorry. The bride told me not to take any pictures of anybody. He gets pissed and goes and sits back down. I remember him coming up to the table and he goes, fucking bitch won't take a picture of your mom and I. And I'm like, and Molly's like, oh yeah, we told her not to take any pictures of anybody else. I'll go let her know that, you know, you're my parents and stuff like that. He's like, he goes, she took pictures for 2 hours in the church and doesn't know that we're her parents. I'm like, that's a good point. You mean
cocaine's a hell of a drug?
I'm like, she's fucking nuts.
I mean, I've never seen anything like that before. I don't go to a lot of weddings, but
yeah, I tell you, there's nothing worse than taking pictures with all of your buddies and trying to be serious.
Yeah,
like it's not possible because one, you're just trying to make each other laugh and then try not to smile. So that's the hardest part. And it's, you know, you get like fingers up the butt and stuff. And, you know, I mean, it's just tough to do.
At my brother's wedding, you know, is doing like all the groomsmen taking those pictures. And this girl comes into the church and one of the grooms was like, man, who is that? She is hot. And the other groom just goes, my wife. It's like,
it's funny.
It's just little things like that. Get you through the day.
So a friend of mine, we weren't close enough for me to be in his wedding, but we were close enough. Like he asked me to be an usher, which I thought that's more of like a kid thing to do, but I did it, you know, to try to be nice. Well, I got there.
I need to show people where to sit in this empty fucking church.
We're not in a church. We're outside. It was a minimal wedding. There might have been 60 people at the actual ceremony.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I didn't.
Most ceremonies have like, yeah, we're not going to the ceremony.
No, and I get that. I'm saying there was only like 60 seats.
Gotcha.
So however many people showed up, I'm not sure. But they didn't want us walking them down. We were just there to tell them what side was groom and what side was you know, bride. Can't think of the word. He goes, I want everybody there at 8 a.m. And I'm coaching football. Like, okay, I'll come after practice. I didn't get a picture. I sat there from 10 to about 3:30. I'm like, well, I could have easily not been here this long. Like this is the most pointless thing I've ever done in my entire life. Like I'm pounding fuck. I'm probably halfway drunk by the time the wedding starts because I'm just sitting there drinking.
Well, it's basically you're there to say which side's the groom, which side's the bride. Of like, hey, the groom's on the right.
Yeah.
And the bride's on the left.
Yep.
Like every single wedding.
Every other one.
Ever.
Yeah. You can kind of tell. What's up there. Yeah. I don't know why.
And then again, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. You can say
like, that'd be a funny thing. And like once
start telling them
like the groom and all the guys go up there and start standing and somebody's just like, oh shit, I'm on the wrong side and gets up and moves to the other side. Sorry. Accidentally, stiff arm the flower girl.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the wrong side.
Yeah. My wife was in a wedding last fall. I know the bride a little bit. I have no idea who the groom is. This is a weird wedding for me. She's in it. I go there later just for the ceremony. I'm sitting by myself. Well, they go to release each pew Like, they didn't.
Yeah.
They went and greeted everybody. And I'm like, this is awkward. I don't know what I'm going to say to either of them because I don't know them that well. They're like 3 away from me, and I just get up and leave. And like I make eye contact with the bride, and I'm like, I gave her like the wave as I'm walking out, and my wife's standing outside waiting for like the bubbles and stuff to be blown. And she goes, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "What do I say to them?" Like, she's like, "You just say congratulations." I'm like, "But I don't mean it. Like, I don't know these people. I'll just stand by you."
Hey, I really got a shit.
So that's not the worst part. Like I said, I'm like 2 hours from my house. I'm driving, whatever. I don't know anybody to go and sit in the reception and wait for them to come back taking pictures. I fell asleep in my car. Take a nap. The party gets back to the reception area. Like half hour goes by and I finally wake up and I have like 40 text messages like, "Where are you at? Where are you at? Where are you at?" I'm like, my bad. I fell asleep in the car. Like I was out for like 2.5 hours.
And knowing you, unless you had air on full blast, it must have been.
I'm drenched in sweat. I had my car running luckily, but I'm still drenched in fucking sweat. I mean, I'm in a tie and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm in wedding attire. And I'm just drenched in fucking sweat. Luckily, the reception hall had the lights dimmed. You couldn't tell that bad.
Yeah.
But I was like, God damn. Not good. Not good.
That's always nice. I've been to, well, your wedding. That's the last one I've been to. And there's probably one this year I got to go to. But
yeah.
I don't.
I'll be there.
Want to.
I'll be there. You can sit by me. Well, I would like to say I'm not an awkward person. Like, I can kind of talk to a lot of people. I know social situations with you know what I'm saying? Like, we've had this conversation.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
But in that situation where I didn't know anybody, it was just like I felt like I was like in this like shell, and I'm like, who do I act like me, or do I act like who these people think I am? You know what I mean? I'm like, do I act for like I shouldn't just start pounding drinks because I don't want to be here, or or do I act like a professional? I'm stuck in a tough spot here.
Yeah, that's always the tough. Now you just be like, have you ever listened to this show?
Yeah, you should,
because I could be this person and we're gonna have a good time.
Yeah,
or I'll just sit here in the corner.
Yeah, kind of
more than happy to just slide out and everybody be like, "Hey, where'd Seth go?" I don't know. I haven't seen him in an hour. Yeah, he's been home. I like doing that. That old man. I go to the bathroom real quick.
Out.
Gone.
The old Irish goodbye.
Yep.
Nice.
Not even Irish.
No.
Mostly German, I think.
Yeah. Not sure.
Not really sure.
Oh man. Oh, Masters started today.
Yeah, I'm already screwed.
Yeah.
Fucking Paul Casey. This is the second week in a row that I've picked my lineup, and right before their tee time, they withdraw. I mean,
yeah, you're already screwed.
And this is I needed the cash this week, or I'm gonna have to put more money in.
Yeah. The only way you're not screwed is if the other 5 do well.
Yeah, and I don't know that that's happening.
I don't know either. I watched Tiger's first 6 holes, and then I actually had to go to class. Kind of sucked. But I watched him miss a birdie putt on like 3 or 4. And I didn't watch much else. I like I said before, I don't know whether it's better to be in your case where you're not cashing.
I'm 100 points off the lead.
Oh, that's not good.
I'm in 10th.
But, like you're already fucked, or me where I have a ton of people make the cut and I still don't fucking cash.
Yeah.
It's like, God, it's happened to me the last 3 weeks.
Well, we can take it here. You can take a guess here. I'll just tell you this.
Yeah.
Your uncle's not in last place. Where do you think he is?
Oh, he's winning probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Not dead last.
He got third last week, and I'm like, wow, that's like your third best finish other than your 2 wins, because other than that, it's dead fucking last. He has the second most wins, first places, and is dead last in total points.
I have not won, and I'm like 5 spots ahead of him in total points. I've only cashed like third once. I'm just dumping money into this.
It's not going to get better either, because we're both going to suck at football.
No, I'm going to win everything in football.
Okay.
I'm going to do some
research.
I won't be setting my team at 12:45.
Yes, you will.
I think we.
Text you at 12:30.
Hey, you getting in this week? Yeah. I was just
strategizing.
Yeah, I didn't know where to go with this, but I'm gonna lose.
I didn't have to text anybody this week and remind them.
I got in on like Tuesday.
I know. I was shocked. I was like, oh, okay. I looked Tuesday.
That's how confident I was with my Paul Casey pick. Fucking asshole.
I looked Tuesday
night. Gets hit by a car.
Might.
I'm serious.
No,
I'm going to tweet him.
Yeah. I hope you
Anybody in Augusta? He's driving around. You see him walking? Not in a fucking wheelchair. You can play. Tiger Woods almost had to have his leg cut off a year ago. He's playing.
Yeah.
Did you pull your testicle? Fucking nut tugger.
Yeah. That might
add him to the list.
Add him to the list. Russell Wilson, Coach K, and Paul Casey.
Paul Casey. Go fuck yourself. I would add the last guy that pulled out last week, but I don't know who the fuck he is. I've heard of Paul Casey before.
Oh, man, Matt Yuma fucked me last week. Like a strained neck or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not a real good golfer, but I think it'd be hard to strain your neck, right?
Usually.
Okay.
But there's rumor is that he heard it at night at the local glory hole.
Oh.
It's for out-of-towners.
Yeah.
It's at the Gas and Gulp.
The Gas and Gulp. It's a big gulp, huh?
I'm not even going to go where I was going to go with that. That would have been probably a little racist and probably... Yeah, you can probably figure it out, though, if you think hard. You know me well enough. You know where that went.
Oh, God. But does Tiger have a chance to make the cut?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that, too. Actually, I put money on it that he makes the cut.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's really tearing it up today.
Mm-hmm.
To my knowledge, 4 under is leading.
Cameron Smith still in the lead?
Yeah, 4 under. So, it's not one of those ones where somebody goes out and shoots 63 and then that kind of throws a whack in the whole thing. Tiger shot 1 under today. So he's 3 shots off the lead.
Yeah, he's good.
So if he shoots par tomorrow, he's making the cut.
Mm-hmm.
I mean.
But yeah, because usually it's like even +1 at Augusta or +2 that make the cut. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like, it wouldn't shock me if I'm not saying he's going to win the thing, but it wouldn't shock me if he did.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's kind of that Ben Hogan, that story of getting a car wreck, could barely walk, had to wrap his legs because they were swelling so much and wins the U.S. Open. Like,
that would be just, like, he needs to retire if he does win. Like, just to go out and just be like, I'm the fucking best.
Yeah, but it's one of those, like, people don't, he's a different guy.
Yeah, no.
He's that Michael Jordan of, like, hey, there's a guy that looks like that coach. Yeah, fuck him. He didn't say hi.
Yeah.
I'm going to put 50 on him.
Exactly.
Like, that's Tiger Woods.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's just kind of attitude he's always had.
What you have to do. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you want to be that good.
Yeah.
I mean, be better with your phone.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have caused a lot of these problems. But, I mean, you're that good on a golf course, you can't fucking keep your phone private?
Yeah.
Or buy a second one?
Yeah.
For fuck's sake. Made $87 million last year.
Can't have a burner?
Can't get a burner at Walmart?
Yeah. Track phone.
Jeez, keep it in your golf bag? I mean, good Lord. You could probably just drive down to the Denny's. You don't need to call.
Oh, gosh.
That's the funny thing. It's like that Perkins. I know I've been at that Perkins before.
Yeah, you said that.
Because it is right around the corner from like in Orlando where we'd always been. Like, I know I've been there. And it was in that time frame.
Well, you think it'd be smarter to like not have the actual name, like when it pops up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like contact should be in there as like Gary. You know what I mean? There's like 75 Garys in his phone. Like Jesus Christ, Gary one.
That's Gary from TV, and nobody wants to hear him fucking talk. So she's not going to answer that. But hey, it worked out. I mean, he's back. Won. She was a babysitter worth $400 million. It all worked out in the end.
Escalade didn't, though.
No. And at that time, he was sponsored by Buick. That was the weirdest one. Like, he comes out making all this money. Nike, Rolex, American Express, Buick.
Yeah.
It's like,
couldn't have got a better car than that.
I mean, what are we doing here?
Likes the luxury sedan.
It's like
that's not a Buick.
kind of same thing of like Under Armour. Like at that time, they had Steph Curry, Jordan Spieth,
Tom Brady,
Tom Brady,
yeah.
Of like, you're still not cool. Like you have the top of the game, you know, especially at that time. Jordan Spieth was like the golfer and was winning everything. Of like, and nobody takes you seriously because your stuff sucks. Like actually, your product is good, but it's not cool.
Yeah, it's not.
It's just not.
It's really not.
It's Reebok.
Yeah, like.
Actually, I think Reebok's cooler than Under Armour.
They made a comeback. You know what? I think we've already talked about this.
The D Brown?
Yeah.
Come on.
I tell you what. The one thing that's made it back, and it's made it back in just...
Boo-boo.
Close. Is that Al Harrington?
Yeah.
He's sponsored by Boo Boo.
Yeah.
Or Al, is it Al Harrington? Yeah.
No, Al Harrington. Isn't that the
guy? That's Al. What's his name? The basketball. I thought is it Al Harrington or Al Harrington? Yeah.
Wacky inflatable arms.
But champion shit. Like as a kid, like if you wore Champion shorts, you're poor. I had a lot of them. You know.
Yeah.
Now I got a sweatshirt from there. It's like $40. I'm like, why the fuck is Champion that expensive again?
Well, it was all the thing too of like last year, like you'd see celebrities start wearing Carhartt t-shirts and stuff. I'm like, hey,
that drove the price
like
up.
I wear this stuff to work in.
You're driving the price up, bitch.
I mean,
they make a nice. They
I
make
wear
nice
a Henley
clothes.
with a pocket.
Yeah,
I like keep my phone in the pocket so it doesn't get
No, I get it. I have worked with you before. I know. Yeah.
I need some fucking actor that walking up on stage slapping somebody in a Carhartt.
Oh God! But yeah, the Champion shit. I'm like, it's not a popular brand now. It's like all expensive and stuff.
I think after I got out of high school, like K-Swiss, like that happened.
I had
like the white on white K-Swiss. I had multiple pairs.
I had a shitload of K-Swiss shoes.
Yeah. Don't sweat the technique.
Yeah.
I think that was there.
You could get them. You can get them at the shoe carnival by the mall.
Yeah. But like it's weird how they go through little things like that of like, when's LA Gear coming?
Yeah.
Like Starter has never made its.
Yeah. Well,
when I was in like junior high, like Starter was like the starter jackets and the hats and the. But it just never.
When they were sponsored, when they did the NFL, I had a ton of Starter jackets, like Broncos, even with like the stripes and stuff on. Like I remember having that, and like the hat, like you said. And then the last big celebrity I remember Starter having was Romo. Yeah, like when he first got his stardom or whatever. I was like, you're out.
Well, now it's like you get a Starter jacket, but you got to be cool enough to wear it, and they're like $800.
Yeah,
like okay,
I'm not. Well, one, I'm not that cool too.
It's not Starter.
Yeah, it's not.
LA Gear was a cool thing, though, for a while.
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no clue.
Remember summer basketball leagues?
Yeah.
It used to be the LA Gear League.
Oh,
like the AAU stuff, or like the team.
Okay.
And then it went to like Puma.
Ah, okay.
And then Puma went down, and they kind of made a comeback.
Yeah. When soccer got a real big comeback in the U.S., like Adidas and Puma really shot up.
Which Adidas is massive because it's just a soccer brand. Mm-hmm. They've never really made it in...
No, nothing really else.
Like they don't have... I mean, if it's not Nike, and I'm including the Jordan brand because it's in Nike.
Yeah.
Collectible shoe-wise, like there's not like... You don't see people like Supreme redoing Adidas shoes.
Yeah.
You know, it's like...
I've had a pair of Under Armour shoes, and they were one of the most uncomfortable things I think I've ever worn in my life.
Well, they're garbage.
And I don't know if I've ever owned a pair of Adidas shoes.
I got a pair of Adidas golf shoes. I think I've worn them 3 times.
I tell you what, not to talk bad about the dead, Kobe Bryant shoes were so uncomfortable to wear. I know they were supposed to be they were supposed to be just legit basketball shoes, but I tried to wear them. Yeah, not. God damn, but they were also the low tops.
Oh yeah,
and I don't know. I just felt weird. I was in my era growing up, like you wore high tops. Like the high top Jordans, the Air Force ones, they were all the high top ones. And then I tried to wear the low brand there, and it did not work out.
Yeah, now as we're older and not doing anything like that, it's like, I better get some running shoes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Gotta get these These Nike free runs are comfortable.
Yeah, these are. What's the most comfortable shoe? And as long as it's got a swoosh on it, I can pull it off.
Exactly.
Now I'm at a point where I'm wearing some, at work because I ruin shoes.
All the time.
Everything.
Yeah.
So I'll just swing by and get like a $20 pair at friggin' Walmart. And I had to spray some hillsides this week. And like pretty steep hills. So I'm like halfway up the hill, standing kind of sideways. You're putting all that pressure on the outside of that shoe. And I'm like, these are $20 at Walmart. I was like, boy, if this sole rips off right now, I'm going to have me a problem. It wouldn't be the first time I've fallen down that hill, but
I don't want it to be this time.
There's people here.
Yeah.
And they're seeing me.
Hey, let me ask you something about your course. As I drove by the other day, there were whatever holes up against the road. I know you always tell me, but I forget. Is it often where 4 people are golfing in a foursome, but they all have their individual cart? That drives me fucking nuts. Is it a very often thing? Okay, all right.
No. Basically, for the most part, same rules apply.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
If you got 4 people, you got 2 carts.
Yeah, 4 separate carts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you cocksuckers.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, we've seen that.
Oh, okay, I got you. It's like, I hate all 4 of you people.
Yeah.
And they're all old dudes, too, because they think that they're better than us. But they probably are. At golf, 100%. But at life, I'm younger. Yeah, that I was like, I drove by, I'm like, you motherfuckers, can you fucking share a car? It's not that bad.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have fun golfing if I was driving by myself.
Nah, it gets kind of boring.
Yeah, half the time I like to bullshit with the guy next to me,
I don't. That's been a thing for as long as Hey, we both want our own cart because we'll play faster. It's like, no, you don't.
No,
you don't play any faster, really. If anything, you play slower.
Yeah, because you still wait on the guy. It's not like
I just keep looking for this ball of like, dude, you're 30 yards deep in the woods. You're looking 3 yards off the fairway. That shit ain't happening. I could have hit a tree and came out. All right, well, just go over there by yourself, toss one down, and say, found it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, because we know that's what's happening.
I found my ball.
Yeah.
And I found a ball.
It was one that was in my pocket. Yeah. See, I marked it, and it was marked just like another one.
I told you I went golfing Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only lost 1 ball.
That's crazy.
Isn't it, though? Like, you've golfed with me before.
Yeah,
you're
fucking terrible.
I know, and I only lost 1.
You had to drive backwards the one time we played together.
I did.
Maybe only 8 inches backwards. For sure was backwards, though.
It was behind the tee. Yeah. For sure it was.
Sure was.
Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't a good day. I mean, we had a great time.
Yeah, it's fun, yeah.
Fun time, but not a good day for me. I knew it was bad when we were on 2 and your brother chipped in from like 80 feet. And we weren't even on the fucking green yet. And I'm like, this isn't a good day.
From the bunker?
Yeah, from the fucking bunker. I'm like, well, this sucks.
It's going to be a long day.
It's going to be a long day.
I think we won for the 3rd time in a row.
Yeah. Thank God I have my partner because it's...
Yeah, he carried the torch.
Yeah. It wasn't like the year before where I was just knocking everything in. Remember the one on 15 that I hit into the tree and I smoked it and it just... Luckily, right by the pin. I have a couple of those up my sleeve every once in a while.
Yeah. I haven't even thought about playing golf.
I didn't figure. I mean, you work there, 90 hours a week, so I didn't figure you want to keep doing the game that you work for. I don't really
work that much.
Well.
I think the 90 hours a bit.
I like to be dramatic.
A bit inflated.
I like to be dramatic.
6 days a week, we'll call it.
Okay.
And then every other week, 7.
I got you.
So basically, I had a full day off every other week.
Every other week. But I mean, when I worked at the golf course, and people were like, oh, I bet you golf all the time. I was like, no. I spent 8 hours there. Why would I want to go back for more or be there on the weekends?
I'm going to hit it in an area that I didn't weed eat and
exactly.
Probably have to do this tomorrow.
Yeah. Man. Fucking, goddamn rough stick, It's like, I need to do better.
Need to be better at my job so I can play better. I don't know how the hell we got onto that from talking about the Masters. But I don't know the guy that's in the lead, though. He's from Australia.
Yeah, Cameron Smith. Ugly fucker.
Is he?
Oh, my God, is he
ugly? He's got a hot wife, though, because he's a PGA Tour player.
Yeah, and he's Australian, and those accents are sexy.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ugly as fuck, but he talked like this, mate.
Yeah. keep talking like that, I'm going to jump across the table.
I can't. It'll turn into some southern thing that
It will.
we've always tried. I'm going to try this, mate.
Yeah.
I'm there.
It's funny that when people are bad at accents, like they're bad at all the accents. Like there's not a good one that it's like, oh, you just stick with that one.
It's like when you watching movies and shit like that, and people that are actually good at them.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you do that? I don't understand that.
No. Like Spider-Man sounds like he's American.
Yeah.
He's just straight, or like Tom Hardy. Like you have a very thick, almost like a Cockney British accent.
Oh yeah, you can't understand him.
You can't understand a goddamn thing he says.
Hugh Laurie played House for 8. It was like 6 years before I found out he wasn't American.
Yeah.
He talks more like an American than Americans do.
It wasn't until 2011 that I found out Hugh Jackman wasn't American.
And he's Australian.
Because he did the movie Australia.
Yeah.
That's the only, I'm like, there's no way.
That was his funniest thing, because he hosted the Oscars that year, and he talked about not getting nominated.
Yeah.
Because he was an Australian that played an Australian in a movie called Australia.
Yeah. It's like,
it's not gonna, you can't go full.
Can't go full Australian.
No, can't go full Australian. But go ahead. You look like you get something important to say.
No, I was just going to say, like, when my wife tries to do accents, she'll try to do, like, a Southern accent, but everything that she does, it turns to Asian. Like, everything. She'll go, we were playing a trivia game one time, and it was, like, one of those, like, you have to describe it to somebody, and then they have to get it, and then, it's like heads up or something like that. Well, it was the college, the Texas Longhorns, and she's trying to do a Southern accent, and she goes, "We love the Longhorns," and I'm like, "What the fuck's that? Like, that's not Southern. That's not Southern at all. It's like that doesn't help."
Yeah, we love Longhorn.
Yeah, exactly. Like, come on.
Well, like my Southern, when I'd always try to when I do the. Now I'm gonna tell you what. That's not that I tried to play that off and said that's actually a pretty spot on imitation of a person.
Oh yeah,
from the golf course, not the one I'm currently at, but the old one. He'd come in and goes, "I'm gonna tell you what, I hit that there ball over in those trees and I couldn't find it, and those people said I was cheating. That's some bullshit." That is a spot on person, and if anybody's listening, they will know who that is.
Yeah, the accents are tough. Accents are tough.
All right, NFL wise, what do we got going on? Stephon Diggs signed it for a bag of money.
Got paid, man.
$85 million on the guarantee.
Seems like that's his contract. Like, I mean, he even came out and was like, "I'm going to finish my career here." So you're done in.
Well, I seen him say that when he was leaving Minnesota, that he told his agent, "Hey, find me a place that, like, I only want to play in one more place. Mm-hmm. I'm not going anywhere else."
Yeah. And I mean, he was definitely a huge part of Josh Allen's progressiveness. I mean, progression of a quarterback. I mean, when you got a guy like that,
it's weird how it was like after the 1 year, it's like Josh Allen can't throw a deep ball, and then you get Stephon Diggs, like he's the best deep ball thrower in the league. It's like, the receiver kind of matters.
Exactly.
If they're not fast enough to run a deep route, then you can't throw deep balls.
And you have a good quarterback when you couldn't name his other people he throw the ball to.
Yeah.
Like, you can only name him because you knew him when he was in Minnesota. You couldn't, unless you're a very avid sports fan, you probably couldn't tell me the other people that he throws the ball to.
No.
I mean, so Josh Allen's a good quarterback, and to have that guy locked up for a while, pretty awesome.
I think he is locked up through 27. Diggs is now through 26. And their other guy is through 26. Their three main guys are all locked up for the next 4 years.
Yeah, the running back's still on his rookie deal, and they don't use him enough to pay him, so they'll find anybody. They're looking nice for a long time. It's just going to take one game for them to get over that hump.
Yeah, you got to make it through. I mean, if they could be the Bengals,
I think they would have. I think the Bengals would have struggled.
Nice to say that.
Yeah, I know. I think the Bengals would have struggled to beat them if it would have been.
Absolutely.
I really do. It just because.
Well, the Bengals struggled beating everybody that they beat.
They did.
I mean,
they really did. But they're very similar teams. Very similar teams. And you struggle to beat the teams that you're like.
Yeah.
And, you have the deep ball, you have the guys underneath, you have your defense. the Bills defense is probably a little bit better than the Bengals defense, but it's just I really think that the Bengals would have had a harder time beating them than the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Because, well, with the Chiefs thing, I mean, that just turned out to be Patrick Mahomes just shitting his pants twice that year when they played each other in the fourth quarter. Of like, all right,
what are you doing?
You forget.
Yeah.
Then, what'd you say else was there in the NFL going on? Another coach jumped onto the lawsuit.
Yeah.
Or two more coaches.
Yeah, Ray Horton and Steve Wilkes.
Which we both discussed of we didn't know that was still a thing.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Because it just kind of went away.
Kind of like everything else.
Will go away.
Yeah, like everything else. I didn't realize Wilkes was back in the NFL. He just got pre-hired by Carolina, but he was in college for a year or two, and I think he was at Missouri. And then Ray Horton, I don't remember the last time he coached. I thought it was with the Browns, but I think that's been too long ago where he was the Browns DC.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they're back on it. Tyron Matthews still the wild card out there.
I think he is doing a thing where he is just a vet of like, hey, I'm not coming to off-season shit, so we're just going to wait and sign.
I saw him. He visited the Saints.
He's going to the Saints.
Yeah, I see that. I don't even know what to think of the Saints. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, okay. It doesn't seem like he's ring chasing, or if he would have already signed with a ring chasing team by now.
Well, he already has one.
That's what I'm saying. He's not on another tour of, hey, I just, I mean, Von Miller doesn't sign with the Bills unless he really wants another ring. He already has to.
He's greedy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a shit person. Yeah. Add him to the list.
Fuck you.
No, I like Von Miller.
It seems like he's being very particular about where he goes.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think he knows this is his last spot because he's, 28, 29? And
safeties,
on the back end side, you're getting...
And you kind of...
You sign 1 4-year deal, that's kind of it.
And you're kind of known of being everywhere, and that's got to be pretty tough on a 35-year-old body at the end of the day. I see him with the Saints. I think he fits well in what they do because their secondary is kind of weak.
Yeah.
I still think if he signs with Pittsburgh, he would be a phenomenal Steeler.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, him and Minkah Fitzpatrick back there together seems like a nice little tandem together.
They kind of need to do something.
Yeah.
Because everybody's kind of got a quarterback except them.
Yeah.
They got Mitch.
They have
Big Mitch.
Don't
even say that he's going to do a really good job for them.
I wasn't going to.
I thought you were going. You had that look that, like, because I know you're a dick rider for Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, totally.
And you have been for 3 years.
Forever. Yeah, he should have been starting over Josh Allen last year.
100%.
The Bills. No, I mean, I don't think it's going to be any worse than Ben last year.
No, just hand the ball off.
I don't think it's going to be.
Maybe I could throw it to either. So,
there was reports where the Steelers are really high on Desmond Ridder from Cincinnati, and I was like, you know what, that kind of makes sense. There's not a whole lot of teams that develop players better than the Steelers. There's always those certain teams that just develop players better because they're patient enough to give them time to be what they are. And I think that'd be a decent spot for him to go because you're kind of already thinking Mitch is your starter, and he goes in there and he learns and he gets better, and then maybe you come up with a Ben situation where.
Well, and the Ridder thing too makes it because that's a Steelers thing of he was a starter for 4 years in college, which doesn't happen, but their last quarterback was also.
Yeah.
Played in the playoffs, took a small school to there. I mean, he's got a lot of experience. And Pittsburgh's thing is they tend to draft those skill positions from northern states because they play in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
That's what they always say of like, well, they don't draft guys that play. Yeah. They draft guys that are receivers. And, hey, I know it's cold as fuck here. Can you hold on to the ball when you get hit?
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy with all the draft talk of just these big names that are dropping for no apparent reason. Like we always talk about the Kayvon Thibodeau guy.
Yeah.
What the fuck has he done to where he's not going to be picked number one? He's
been number one for 2 years.
It's not because I'm, a Michigan hater or anything like that. I want Kip Thibodeau over fucking Hutchinson.
He did, he had a big game against Ohio State, and obviously I'm an Ohio State fan. I'm not bashing Michigan, but what the fuck did that guy do this year?
Yeah, I mean, he don't get me wrong. He put up his best numbers ever.
That's great.
That's great.
But you were not a
thing until this year, and we always see those.
it's tough to say, like, because the Bosas were a thing since they were freshmen.
Yeah.
And Chase Young was a thing when he was a freshman.
Uh-huh.
And, like, they treating this guy like he is a, that level of guy in a draft of, like, I mean, no.
Not even a little bit. I feel like he's really undersized for playing that defensive, that 4-down lineman defensive position.
Like that Winovich thing, too. Because, like, he shot up the board of, like, he's terrible at football.
Yeah, he's not good.
I mean,
and
he got drafted by the Patriots, which tells you something.
Yeah.
Because they're shitty at drafting.
Yeah, he's not even with them anymore.
No.
He got traded to the Browns.
They make more trades to the fucking Browns
they do, don't they?
than I have ever seen.
They're the known team to take players from the Browns and make them Pro Bowlers.
Yeah. Not anymore.
No, not anymore.
Tom's gone and Bill's not worthy.
Yeah. But the Thibodeau guy, it's like he's athletic enough to play not just one spot out there. I mean, you can put him at an outside linebacker and probably be okay with it in the right scheme. I don't know why he's not talked about as the number one pick. I mean, you don't even hear about him in the top fucking 5 anymore.
They're talking about he might fall out of the top 10.
That's crazy.
Like, well, hey, if he falls down to like 15, I think somebody's going to be really fucking excited.
No shit.
I mean,
no shit. Yeah, you get this hybrid guy that is athletic as hell. And
yeah,
I don't get that part of it. And then I know they're offensive linemen, and if they're good, they're good. But you always see like 2 or 3 of these small school offensive linemen just shoot up in the draft. And I'm like, I have a hard time picking the guy who plays at like San Jose State over the fucking guy who started 4 years at Alabama.
Yeah.
I just have a hard time picking that person over that guy.
Yeah, you're just like, I'm finding this diamond. You don't find diamonds in the rough in the first round.
No.
Just go ahead and get the diamond.
Exactly.
Diamonds in the rough happen in 3, 4, and 5.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you get the Division 3 player.
That's really the only. I just struggle with it. Now, if their tape's good, their tape's good. But for you to say, this guy's better than the guy who started 4 years at Bama, I'm like,
Well, now it's shooting back around to where Jameson Williams is going to be the first receiver taken.
Yeah.
Which is fine. He would have been if he wouldn't have.
Yes.
But he did tear his ACL.
Yeah, it's a big problem.
But, now it's on like, well, but he has the most upside, which he does. He's faster than everybody, but he also doesn't know how to run routes yet.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. So it's kind of that DK Metcalf thing of like,
yeah,
you got an upside, but
well, it's even
and you're not going to play for the first half of the season.
And even the 2 dudes coming out of Ohio State, they're like, middle of the first round. I'm like, okay, but who's in front of them? Which now I get the guy from USC is pretty good.
He's just
coming
massive,
out.
and it's just massive.
Huge. I get that, but I don't. Again, it's hard for me to pick somebody where I can visibly watch them be better.
Yeah.
On film. Those 2 guys were fantastic. Olave would have been a first-round pick last year if he went out. Why is he in that same situation now when he had a pretty stellar year?
I'm all right with where Olave's placement is. I always thought he's a stretch in the top 10.
Oh, yeah.
But Garrett Wilson's got that, like, freak kind of ball skill stuff.
And he's bigger.
Yeah. And then he ran a sub 4.4.
Yeah.
Which everybody's like, he's kind of slower. And then boom, of like, no, he's not.
No, he's not.
So, and he just kind of catches everything.
Yeah.
He has more of that Jamar Chase feel where you just kind of chuck it up there and he'll go get it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not
Jamar
he's not
Chase.
There. No, he's not. No. So,
yeah. It'll be interesting to when that all plays out of.
Well, no, I start talking about Sauce Gardner might go number 2 of like, and I like him.
He's fantastic. He has one of the greatest stats coming out of college is he hasn't allowed a passing touchdown against him.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. How can you now I know we're a passing league now. How can you justify taking a corner at number 2? And I get it with the passing league and the way offenses do now. If you get a good corner, you're kind of set. But number 2, when you're was it Jacksonville or Detroit? It's like you need a lot of other things at number 2.
Yeah. Well, Detroit can kind of just throw a dart at the board and hit a name and go, we need it.
We need that. Yeah. It's weird that that's a talk now, but we're going to see fucking 2 quarterbacks taken in the top 10 because that's just
when
what
none
happens.
of them should have been taken until 20.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That Kenny Pickett, I'm not.
I get the Malik thing. I get it.
Yes.
But I get it in the 20s.
I get it in the 20s. I get him over the Pickett guy. I think we saw his ceiling. I don't know if anybody knows what the Willis guy is because he fucking played at Liberty.
Yeah, you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guy like they don't have a pick, but he's a guy like the Indianapolis Colts pick because they have Matt Ryan for 2 years.
Yeah.
Of like, hey, we're just going to ride with this. You sit back and learn how to be a professional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not a better guy to learn
from. There you go.
From. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, I struggle to see those guys go.
I think the weird thing for me this last week is Terry McLaurin.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
The trade rumors of him of like, are they not planning on re-signing this guy? I mean, what? Because he is a, second round?
Yeah.
Second rounder. So he doesn't have a fifth-year option.
No.
Or a third rounder.
He's something lower than
third
that.
Rounder.
Third or fourth rounder.
It's wherever he doesn't have a fifth-year option. He only has a fourth-year option. This is it.
Yeah.
Of the guy's been a captain since his second year.
Yeah.
He catches fucking everything.
Yeah.
And whatever that stat is he has the most catches of deep balls, but also has the most inaccurate passes to him.
Yeah.
It's like, he just kind of comes. Now, he's been dinged up a couple times. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's, smaller guy.
Yeah.
But
yeah, for the fact
are
that you're
you
not
signing him? I mean, you stole all that fucking ticket money from the other franchises. Why? I mean, can you not pay the guy?
No, they can't even afford to rebuild their fucking stadium. If they don't re-sign him, they're just not good at what they do, and they're not. But it's you're not even being smart about it. Now, I get it, not re-signing him right now because the receiver market is absolutely out of control.
It's not getting any cheaper.
It's not going to get any cheaper.
It's the most important outside of quarterback. It used to go. We talked about this. It used to go quarterback, defensive end,
tackle,
left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's quarterback, pass rusher,
receiver.
wide receiver.
Well, and I think,
then wide receiver 2, then tackle.
Well, I would have argued that point until the Bengals did what they did last year
with nothing.
They
throw it up.
Penny Sewell's a fucking all rookie, you know what I mean? He was a fantastic player, but it's like, nah, this guy's going to help us more. And I'm like, yeah, fucking idiots. Who takes a receiver at that? I'm like, well, that one fucking for him.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy. And I would have argued that point too. It's like, yeah, receiver's important, but not after what they did. Everybody's like, yeah, okay, they took the shot and they got it, but there's not a whole lot of Jamar Chases out there.
Well, and you already seen what Justin Jefferson did, and he wasn't the best receiver on that team. And you happen to have the quarterback says, look, he's a fucking guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I've thrown to both of them, and he's better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's.
And then that's the other one. Like, crazy talk to me that Terry McLaurin could be available, and I mean, 20-some teams should be making that phone call.
100%.
Of like, that's the guy you want that guy.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, is A.J. Brown available? Of like, how is that even a fucking thing that he's coming into his last year of like, he's the best outside of Derrick Henry. He's the best thing you got on your team.
Yeah. I did read that was shut down at the owners' meetings. Like the guy was like, yeah, we're not shopping him.
Yeah.
But the fact that was a rumor.
Because it's
weird.
a rumor because you haven't signed him either.
Exactly.
Which means you haven't.
Mm-hmm. The one again, I kind of get this one, but for the team itself, I don't understand it, is the DK Metcalf trade rumors. What do you just plan? You're not rebuilding, but you plan on getting rid of a second, third-year receiver that has potential? I don't get that one because you literally have no one else to throw to.
Yeah.
And you don't really have a guy to throw them the ball, so I kind of get it that way, but you're not rebuilding. But yeah.
Well, you just traded your quarterback away with a guy with a big arm, so might as well keep the fast guy that basically just runs a straight line.
That's what I'm saying, but I don't know. If you're rebuilding, you should have got rid of him earlier.
I can understand them trading him away if you can get some stuff for him, because he's going to demand $25 million.
Oh, yes.
And he's worth about $7 million.
He's not worth.
He's not good.
He's not worth the big contracts everybody else is getting.
He's not good.
He's not worth that. It's just I just want him to come
Seattle
out.
fans, if you're listening, you got to tell me. It's either DK Metcalf isn't any good or Russell Westbrook Russell Wilson wasn't any good. It's one of the two.
Yeah.
Either Russell Wilson's shit or DK Metcalf isn't that fucking good.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong.
I know.
And, but it's just weird to me that you're not rebuilding, but yet all of your players are on the trade block.
And then you come out there and say, "Hey, we're not trading him." It's like, yeah, but 3 weeks ago you said that about Russell Wilson, and like the next day you traded him. So you can't say that.
You're in a fucking rebuild.
Yeah,
you're in a fucking rebuild, and you should have fired Pete Carroll because you don't want to start a rebuild with a 79-year-old coach.
Yeah,
but you're in a rebuild. You traded I get the trade because he didn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah, he wasn't. They had to make the decision. He was not re-signing with them.
But you're in a rebuild. Anytime a team trades away a franchise quarterback, you're kind of in a rebuild.
Yeah, that's unless you happen to have one on the bench.
Yes,
unless you happen to have Jordan Love on the bench,
yeah.
And then you. But I think that's the weird thing, like with the DK. And the Terry and the AJ.
The AJ Brown one to me was just like
crazy.
You're
when they're
fucking
like,
stupid.
Well, go get AJ Brown. It's like, well, how can you get?
Yeah,
they're never gonna. I mean, he's phenomenal.
AJ Brown might be the only receiver that's available right now, as potentially available, that I would give up a first round pick for.
Absolutely.
He's probably the only one that he's that good to where
he's the only one. He's the only bona fide number one receiver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's just. I mean. McLaurin he's a number one
on a bad team
on them, but he's a great number two.
Oh yeah,
anywhere in the league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like if you're like Green Bay, how are you not?
Yeah, if he is available,
nobody to throw to out there. Like that's a guy.
Give him a call.
I mean,
I did see we're talking about receivers numbers going up. The potential Deebo Samuel contract, it's like 5 years, $110 million or something like that, as a projected.
Yeah,
contract offer. I'm like,
he's got. I mean,
it's crazy.
He's 85% of their offense.
I know.
He does all the running and catching.
Yeah,
of like,
kind of need that guy.
Kind of got to pay him.
And there's not a lot of guys like him. So,
well, I think what the league is starting to realize, so that's why you're seeing some of these guys get traded. Of, hey, they're not signing these franchise tags anymore, and they're going to just force their way out.
Mm-hmm.
Of like, soon as it's kind of that Devontae. He told them 2 years ago, I don't want a franchise tag. Let's get this deal done. They tagged him. Get me the fuck out of here. I'm not playing here.
Yeah. Stupidity.
And if you're going to franchise, now you're franchise tagging somebody because you're trying to get them at 18, then you franchise them for 25 now.
Yeah.
I mean.
It didn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
You can't franchise a receiver anymore because come next year with all these contracts, the franchise tags, the average of the top 5 receivers is going to be about $24 million.
Oh, yeah. That's what.
So you're going to franchise Terry McLaurin next year at $24 million?
Probably not.
I mean.
Yeah. No, I mean, well, that's, I know it's my team, and they re-signed both of their receivers last year and locked them up for 3 or 4 years or something like that. Now, they're not top 10 receivers, but Christian Kirk getting $18 to $20 million a year, those guys would have gotten that.
Yeah.
So it was a smart play by getting those guys now. And you wonder, and I'm sure that they do, if you kind of get a feel like this position group's going to skyrocket, so you try to get them done early. You know what I mean? It's
kind of that taking into account what Jerry Jones went through with Dak.
Mm-hmm.
You restructure if he's your guy, you do it at year 3.
Yeah.
And then you waited and then you just
waited too long. Yeah.
You could have gave him everything he wanted in year 3 and been cheaper than what you got
now. Yeah.
It's like, after the next season, the Bengals are going to offer Joe Burrow and redo that contract.
Yeah.
And then the next year after that, Jamar Chase is going to get
That's what the Chiefs did with Mahomes. They saw it after his 3rd year. Like, he's good. We're gonna keep him.
We're gonna find out how good he is because he ain't got nothing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That'll be a fun story.
Like, they're not making the playoffs next year.
Wouldn't be shocked. It's weird to me. Now, I would still pick them to win the division because there's. Other than trading away Tyreek Hill, they've won it the last 4 years. There's still nothing to me that says, no, I'd pick them again to win it. Now, I'd be hesitant because of all the other teams, but they have actively gotten worse when your other division, the other teams have gotten better.
And they were showing signs last year of, there is no flip switch. Like, everybody kind of has your
number now.
Well, it's kind of like what the Bengals showed of, hey, you're inside the 20. Yeah, we're just going to rush 3 and drop everybody.
Good
Run
luck.
around all you want, pal.
Mm-hmm. What was I going to say? Similar to that, it's hard. Now, they did it to themselves because you got really, really good. So everybody else is playing catch up, but you kind of have to keep it distant enough to where you still feel comfortable. Now it's almost like they're getting uncomfortable with how close everybody else in the division is getting.
Yeah.
I can see panic happen. I really can't. I mean, you saw it with Andy Reid in Philly.
Yeah.
He won the division. Like, he went to the NFC Championship game like 4 years in a row in Philly. And then everybody else kind of creeping up. The Giants got a little better. Dallas is Dallas. You know what I mean? And then it was like, okay, well, now you're only winning 7 games a year. You're fired.
Yeah. Well, that's like Chiefs-wise, and we just talked about it, of like, they should be calling Washington.
Yeah.
Because that would fit in perfectly with what they do.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not even in that division. And when we do this in August or whatever,
mm-hmm.
I'm probably more likely to pick the Raiders winning the division than anybody else. I believe in the Raiders. I don't believe in Denver.
No.
I don't believe in the Chargers because for somehow they
always lose.
I don't know how that's a franchise thing.
Yeah.
It went from multiple coaches and quarterbacks
and cities.
Hey, we're going to lead 93% of this game, and in the last 3 minutes, we're going to lose.
Yeah. All the time.
For the last 15 years.
All the time. I thought Anthony Lynn was their best coach since Marty Schottenheimer, and he found ways to lose games. Just found ways to lose games. And it's crazy. And this guy that they have now, he's done literally the complete opposite of everybody else. He has gotten people to play defense and not necessarily helped his offense. Now, whether that works out for him or not, who knows? But it's a different spin on what he's trying to do. So, it's something different. You always try to see how people are going to, build their team. He didn't do it wrong. You have Russell Wilson now. You have Patrick Mahomes, Derek Carr. Let's get people who can maybe slow them down a bit.
I just don't understand all the Derek Carr hate that he gets.
Yeah.
It's like they want to talk about that game of what Justin Herbert was doing. And it was phenomenal at that of like, hey, Derek Carr was on the other side doing the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
And they won the game.
He led them to the playoffs with Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah.
Because Waller was hurt.
In prison.
Waller was hurt half the year.
Yeah.
And people started doubling him because they're like, well, we'll let we can guard him one-on-one. We'll double Waller.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? I'll take my chance with that guy out there. It's like, no, okay, we're solid.
Now, I mean, yeah, and he throws a pick. He threw a pick at the end zone, trying to win that game. It's like, well, he had to get rid of the ball.
Yeah, and he threw it to his best weapon.
Yeah, and the biggest problem was the ball wasn't in the end zone. Even if the guy caught it, it was the last play of the game.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I don't know where the Derek Carr.
I think it just comes from Gruden. I think it just came from the whole Gruden thing of like, I don't like this guy.
Yeah, because when Del Rio was their coach, his first 2 years, his first year they went to the playoffs. His second year, they may be the 1 or 2 seed until he tears his knee up. Because they start out like 8-2 that year.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, Del Rio sucks, fire him. Gruden wants to come back, we're going to get him. It's like, well, you ruined your franchise by hiring that guy.
Yeah.
Because he thinks he knows more than he fucking does, and he ruined it.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Well, and that's still just funny. Like all this shit coming out of Washington. 2 sets of books. They're possibly keeping money away from other franchises.
Yeah.
The 40% they're supposed to kick back to the away team. Internal problems, sexual harassment.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing that came out of the Washington investigation was emails from John Gruden.
Exactly. Yeah.
You guys did an investigation. You didn't find any of this shit except John Gruden emails. And then like 3 months later, it's like, yeah, they're fucking
everything
fudging their numbers.
Yeah.
And
what a piece of shit that guy is. Gruden and fucking Snyder.
Well, he's been a piece of shit forever.
Oh, forever.
But it's just like you just get away with it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Have you been alive when somebody... Now, I remember the NBA when they made Sterling sell the Clippers, but have you seen an NFL team, NFL make a person sell their team before?
They kind of forced the guy in Carolina to sell.
Did they? Oh,
and
yes, I do remember that.
The Tennessee.
I don't remember the Tennessee
racist
thing. He might have
This
been.
is
I remember.
like in the last 10 years.
I do remember the Carolina guy. They made him sell the team.
Was he the racist?
Carolina was the racist.
Yeah, and it was borderline on the Tennessee guy, because remember that. Like, do you remember when he was flipping off the crowd and stuff
Yes.
from his box like
Yes.
that? I don't remember if that's the same owner or not, or if maybe his kid was like, "Hey, you need to step the fuck down, and your kid's going to take over."
Okay.
Like,
I gotcha.
but yeah, they pretty much forced the guy, and
Now that you bring up the Carolina part, I do remember that now.
yeah. Well, that's the thing too, and that is a weird thing. As bad as Washington is as a franchise, so your team's going to end up selling in that $4 to $4.5 billion,
Mm-hmm.
and if Washington comes up, that's fucking $6.5 billion franchise, and they're garbage.
They're terrible.
You've won 3 Super Bowls in the last 25 years with your team. They're worth $4 billion. This team hadn't done jack shit since the 90s.
Yeah.
$6 billion. With a stadium that dumps poop on their crowd.
Yeah, exactly. The issue with the Denver selling is Pat Bowlen has a reputation of being a very, very good guy, and they're going to be so particular because it's a group of people who gets to decide who buys the team.
Yeah, well, it's like a fiduciary.
Committee. Yeah, however they do it.
Well, that's how they do it, is they sell it to the highest bidder.
And I get that part.
They have to. Like, legally they have to.
It's just it's weird. I would assume that a lot of people would have been in on it, and it's like, you still haven't sold the team yet? Like,
yeah.
What the heck's taking so long?
Now, because it's a fiduciary that runs that, and they have the best interest of the trust.
Yeah.
So you have no, as a family, you have no say-so. So they highest bidder is what it is. Now, if the highest bidder is Kanye West, like the NFL is going to be like, fuck no.
Yeah.
So that, it's got to be approved by the highest bidder approved by the NFL.
Yeah. And
that's why you see Peyton Manning, and then Peyton's in 2 buying groups, and John's in 2. It's like, you guys have no money.
Yeah. Compared to what this is. Yeah.
And then they'll be like, John Elway's the owner of the Broncos. Like,
no, he's not.
Yeah, put in like $7. There's this other guy that like fucking owns Pornhub or whatever, that they just couldn't be the face of it. Good old fucking horse-toothed John out there.
I would love if Peyton Manning was an owner, part owner.
I wouldn't, because you're gonna lose all his other content.
Yeah,
and I like his shit.
He's funny. He's got that normal person humor. You know what I mean? He just doesn't act like an uptight prick. He just acts like a normal person. I
think it changes when you're an owner.
Yeah,
Well, because you're not going to have deals doing Peyton's Places on ESPN if you own a franchise. Yeah. I just think that's going to go away.
Probably.
Could you imagine him getting into a room, they start talking stuff, and him getting into it with Jerry Jones?
Yeah.
And then Jerry Jones being like, Peyton, you don't know a fucking thing.
Yeah.
You made $200 million in your life. I built a $6 billion stadium. I mean...
Yeah.
With my money.
Yeah.
But that is a fun thing of like thinking about that when because Tepper that bought Carolina, he's the richest owner. He's worth like $15 billion.
Yeah.
And this is a weird thing to say, but if these come up and like people want to start getting involved, of like, that is no money. Like, that guy is broke compared to people of like, if anybody in like if Bezos, like, I'll buy every franchise. And just write you a check.
I would be cool with him doing it, with him owning it. I mean, I think
you're not going to hear. I mean, you don't hear anything from him now.
No, that's what I'm saying. He would just be like, "Yeah, it's my team," but
or like an Elon, or there's so many people worth like $50 billion that would walk in there and be like, "The fuck are we talking about here?"
That would be really cool if just somebody who would buy it and be like, "This guy runs it. I'm going to go back to do what I do."
Yeah. Imagine Bezos at the owners' meetings having a talk of like, why are we not doing this?
Yeah.
Well, it's just much having a conversation with Mike Brown.
Yeah.
Going, well, guys, I think we need to charge $5 for hot dogs. What? What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Well, because his daughter stepped in it a little bit too, because she came out.
Brown's daughter.
Katie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which she's doing a great job, obviously.
Yeah,
but then came out, do not talk about the Watson contract. If you are a person that's an owner or agent, do not talk about that contract. Because she's trying to get out in front of it because you got to pay Joe Burrow. Well, it just looks like you're the standard Bengals of we're going to try to get him on the cheap. Maybe he'll get a hometown of like, it ain't happening.
No.
I mean, it's just not happening. You're going to pay, Joe Burrow's going to make $45 million a year. Because that's what it takes.
Yeah.
But it's like in the same way in Baltimore because they said, they got to sign Lamar. And it's like, well, he's not the guy that should have got the guaranteed money. It's like, no, you just know that you got to pay your guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're pissed off that this happened.
Yeah.
And it, you know.
Oh, yeah.
He's not even the highest fucking paid guy.
No, he's not. It is
Technically he is, but not really.
Yeah. Contracts are fun.
Yeah. It is weird now that they are, ever since like McAfee and them went off on how Rodgers' contract was reported.
Yeah.
You're starting to see them report it differently now.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's 5 years, $180 million. It's like, then you'll see it, 2 years of it's guaranteed at 40.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so
yeah,
it's a $40 million contract.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to act like, you know.
Yeah.
Going to act like this stuff is the.
He's getting a lot of shit too. Like
who's that?
McAfee just doing a lot of shit. Just like his whole WrestleMania thing, and I'm like, good God, like you're in the ring now. I mean, I know he did that for an extent with the NXT or whatever that is, but
obviously I don't watch wrestling, and I only knew about it because I watch his show.
Yeah.
But then obviously you'll see the tweets and stuff of I didn't know wrestling was still that big. The fact they had 80,000 people 2 days in a row.
I didn't know that either.
It was like, so you had 160,000 people watching wrestling over 2 days.
One of the fun things that I find funny about wrestling to try to get you to come is they bring all the old people back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, well, that's why you get so many people. You had all these guys who love Stone Cold Steve Austin, and it's like, yeah, let's go watch that. You know what I mean?
Well, I've seen a lot of tweets saying, if I wasn't a wrestling fan, you would think that Pat McAfee was the biggest star they had. The way that match was playing out, I was like, so like the biggest pops you got are like Pat McAfee and Stone Cold, who's 60.
Yeah, exactly. Probably hurt himself doing a stunner.
Now I have been like, because obviously I grew up in that, whatever they call it, the Attitude Era when The Rock. I went to one in Dayton when he was still Rocky Maivia.
Yeah.
And he was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. But like that whole change of like, God, like it was like a cool thing. Like wrestling was cool at that point because you had Stone Cold and you had The Undertaker and you had, the suck it started happening and of like, and they don't do that because it's more kid friendly now. Of like, well, that kind of sucks. Yeah. Like that was when it was funny.
I went to one in Columbus and it was like Randy Orton and Dave Bautista and Cena ended up making like he didn't wrestle, but he made like a surprise threat because he was wanting to wrestle but challenge Batista for something, and he showed up and then they argued and then he left, and I was like, this is really cool, but I'm 13 and I know that this isn't really anything, you know what I mean? But I'm like, this is cool. I'm like, I'm sitting 30 feet from fucking Dave Bautista right now. I was like, that guy's massive.
I think it's more of the once you got out of the it's not real.
Yeah.
But as an adult, it'd be more of going to it for like the theatrics of it, all the fucking the flames coming out of this, and then realizing of like, well, that guy is 40 years old and he did fall off that rope and hit that. I know that's fucking wood under there.
Yeah.
I know what a ring is.
Yeah, exactly.
Of like, that still fucking hurts. And of the, hey, I know it's a lighter weight chair, but he still hit him with a fucking chair. So
exactly.
You can't fake that.
Yeah. I kind of like listening to like the people talk about like the behind the scenes.
Oh yeah.
Like I watched an interview with Big Show.
Yeah.
And he was talking because he was like, yeah, I'm kind of known for getting everybody's like power move or whatever, because he's like, I was the biggest guy, so it was always cool for me to get the whatever there. And they were like, who was the best one to do it? And he's like Brock Lesnar might be the fastest person in the ring I've ever went against. He's like, he came up and like punched me, and then next thing I know, he's got me on my back. He's like, I didn't know what the fuck happened. He's like, John Cena might be the strongest person. He goes, I felt like he just picked me up.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know if I jumped. I just feel like he fucking picked me up. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like,
yeah, those are the best things like that. They used to do that Dark Side of the Ring and stuff like that, where it's like all the backstories of like coming up and how they, like the Undertaker
was on Rogan.
His, like paying this guy to train him, and like the guy just took his money and fucking left.
Yeah.
And it was like that shit of.
Well, I find funny the Undertaker one. He's like, I'd be in the grocery store in my costume because I just felt like that's what I should have done. It's got to be real for people or they're not going to want to watch it. Like, could you imagine him walking in the fucking grocery store and be like, it's a fucking Undertaker?
Yeah. So he just wore black everywhere.
Everywhere.
When they, I think it was Triple H had said that was how, like the Rock, the People's Elbow thing.
Yeah.
How that came to be. Because, they do house shows, no cameras.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the Undertaker never broke character. And they were trying to make him break character in the ring. And that's when The Rock did that and started running back and forth and doing this big elbows because they're trying to make him laugh.
Gotcha.
And then it turns into this massive fucking thing.
Yeah. It is funny. Like, I watched wrestling as like a kid, but I can tell you like a lot of the main people's like main move. You know what I mean? Like the rock bottom and the stunner and the John Cena shit. And
like, I don't know. I've never seen John Cena wrestle.
Me either.
Because he was after, like there was like a 5-year span where it was like, hey, this is the cool thing. And then it kind of.
Yeah.
Because I've been to house shows. I've been to a Monday Night Raw and I've been to a SmackDown, back in the 2099, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
When it was.
Yeah. All the cool guys.
Yeah. Like the fucking cane thing.
Yeah.
Where the flames come out. Like you fucking feel that.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh my God. It's like, how have they never?
Well, it's weird that there's so many of them. They were talking about how because it was an interview with one of them, and they're like, we don't know who's going to win until we're actually in the ring. They're like, we have an idea of how we do our moves and shit, but it's more of a conversation of who's the crowd cheering for. And then we kind of talk about it as we're going in the ring of, hey, flip me over my back. I'm like, oh, that's kind of neat. It's like, well,
and then they tell them who wins.
Yes. But I'm saying, it's more of it's a communication thing.
Yeah, you're working the crowd.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of that, there was like, if the crowd's into it, then it worked. It's going to work on TV.
Yeah.
But it's that one guy that used to work for me, he wrestled and he was on, like he was with the WWE for a little bit, but he was they told him, said, yeah, you're a good wrestler, but you're not good enough to be on TV.
Yeah.
So like before the filming starts, like a Monday Night Raw, there's like 4 or 5 matches. Like he's one of those guys.
Yeah. Just for the crowd.
But, talking about it, he goes like, hey, but that's the deal is we need to preferably make them go as crazy as they can in the crowd without beating the shit out of ourselves. Like, I don't really want to go through a table.
Yeah, exactly.
But if that's what it takes, if we can do this without doing that, I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
But
when I was like right when I was graduating and into like my early 20s, I'm like I'm that old now, but there was like a 3-year span where the RKO was like the coolest thing ever, and people would just go around doing it to random people. Like I remember we were at practice one day and they're stretching, and one of the kids comes up to this other kid and just yells RKO and just fucking does it to him on the field. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? They're like, oh, it's Randy Orton. I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll give it a watch. And I did it. I'm like, it's crazy fuckers. It's like, what the hell are you doing?
Is like the people that can put the RKO into videos. Like when somebody's tripping on a sidewalk and like you see Randy Orton come running it. It's like, that is
great.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Randy Orton. And he just comes in out of nowhere.
RKO. Like, big props to like the guys that have to fucking announce for that shit because they scream for like 2 hours straight.
Yeah. Shit.
But yeah, that's the they were cool back then. Yeah. I mean, that was cool shit.
Mm-hmm. I remember watching as a little kid watching The Rock and Stone Cold and Goldberg and Kane and all those guys, Undertaker and all that stuff. And it's like, yeah, it's cool, but
but now, like, who's your superstar now? Yeah. Like, I understand the Brock Lesnar just because he's a freak.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things too of like, I understand, you got to do your storytelling and losing. It's like, this guy was a UFC heavyweight fucking champion of the world.
How is he losing?
How's he losing in this no holds barred match?
Yeah.
I feel like he just tackle him, beat the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
That his is the craziest of like, understand he, is a wrestler at Minnesota or whatever. He almost made the Vikings and didn't play football.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it was borderline of him making the team.
Yeah, he's just a freak. You see a couple people always try to transition from WWE to real fighting.
Yeah.
Him being that good at it was just crazy.
Yeah.
That crazy.
Well, that's the thing of like you got a max of 265 and you got to cut weight to make heavyweight.
Yeah.
Like Francis Ngannou, same way, has cut weight to make.
But the fact that you're that big and you're that fucking cut up is just, one, it's ridiculous that you're able to do that. But two, it's just like, you're a massive human.
Yeah.
Even when you're at your head, his walking around weight, he's still fucking cut up. Like his walking around weight's probably like 295, 280. It just fucking cut. It's like, God damn, that's impressive.
And that's the fight game, man. It's like the UFC's been kind of like they've had some good fights, but it's been kind of boring because like all the belts are tied up by people who aren't losing. Because I mean, nobody's beating Kamaru.
No.
Nobody's beating Stylebender at 185. The 205 belt, I don't even know who the fuck has it right now. And Ngannou just had surgery again. He's probably never going to fight again for the UFC. It's just like, everything's kind of tied up.
Yeah.
Last fight was at Masvidal in Covington.
Yeah.
And that went exactly how you knew it was going to do it.
Exactly.
And then at a bar the next week, Masvidal jumps and knocks a fucking tooth out.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, Kobe's a pussy for pressing charges. Like, he got fucking assaulted. He came out and hit him out of nowhere. It's like, and I think Masvidal maybe was thinking that was cool or something.
Yeah, like that's not cool.
Hey, dude, you had 25 minutes. This guy literally beat the
shit
out of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the fact that you knocked a tooth out because you ran up from behind, I like Masvidal.
Yeah.
Like,
what
come
are you doing,
man.
Dude? You're not fighting again.
That's the second fighter you have hit.
Yeah. Not fighting.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're a massive star.
Yeah.
And you've lost your last 3 matches. So just get your money because you're on your way out.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. Well, he can't be fighting again in the UFC.
Oh, he will.
You think so?
Yeah. Well,
he's a moneymaker.
But you got Conor McGregor, obviously, he's a big draw. Masvidal's the second biggest draw.
Yeah.
And, he's kind of in that with the Diaz brothers and stuff of like, I kind of want to see him fight. Mainly because he need Ben Askren in the head.
Yeah.
That's it.
Cool. Yeah, exactly.
That's all he
like
did.
Usman and Stylebender, like those guys are just fucking good. Like you're not beating those guys.
Yeah, there's not a person that I can see like Stylebender. Okay, he's he fights at 185 and he cuts about 1.5 pounds because he walks around at like 187.
Yeah.
So then maybe there's a guy that cuts down from 205 to 185 and just gets on him and beats the fuck out of him. Okay, but Usman, it's like he hadn't even. Colby Covington is so good, and those are probably two of the best fights I've ever seen.
Yeah,
but he can't beat him.
Yeah,
it's like if Kamaru Usman wasn't here, Colby Covington would be the greatest fighter. In the UFC right now. Yeah, and he can't get a sniff at it because it's just
Who was I don't remember fighters' names very well. Who was the last McGregor fight? Who'd he fight? He broke his leg.
Dustin Poirier.
Is he going to fight again or somebody or something?
Poirier going to fight?
Yeah.
He fought like a month or so. He got beat.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, he fought Charles Oliveira for the 155 belt and got submitted in the second round.
Gotcha.
Nah, it's probably been 2 months now. But they're going to make that'll end up happening again of like McGregor's going to want to fight Poirier again.
Yeah.
Of like, hey,
no.
He's going to beat your ass.
Yeah.
You say, well, I lost this because my leg broke. It's like, yeah, he was also beating your ass. Like, you were on your way to get knocked out again, pal. Like, he's just better than, like, the McGregor thing is over.
Yeah.
Like, he'll make his money. Stop chasing, like he called out Kamaru Usman.
Yeah.
Of like, come on.
Yeah, you can get your ass beat.
What are we talking about?
What are you doing, buddy?
You're not a 170. You can fight up there.
It's not good.
This guy is going to pummel you.
Was that when Diaz beat the hell out of him? Was he went up to 170?
170. Yeah. Yeah, because that's another one of like, that's 1-1 of, okay. I don't know that Conor won that match.
Yeah.
I mean.
Oh, man. Who was my guy Sugar Sean, man. I love watching him fight.
He's on his march, but he's still in that, now they're getting, because Patty Pimblett's the same way.
Yeah.
They're on their 15 and 15 contracts of like, I'm not fighting anybody.
Yeah.
You're going to pay me $15,000? You want me to fight the number 8 guy in the world?
Yeah, no.
Oh, fuck yourself.
Yeah. The Pat
Sign a
guy's
new
not
contract.
bad.
Oh, he's phenomenal.
Yeah. He's a fun guy to listen to
Oh,
talk
my
to, too.
God.
Yeah.
You got to pay attention.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what did he say?
And then the chick that he trains with, she's just as fucking
She
worse.
beat the shit out of it.
Oh, she did. But to listen to her talk, too, was like,
same person.
What? What the hell? Are you guys brothers and sisters? Like, what the hell's
Are
going
you
on?
banging?
Yeah,
I don't know what's going
I don't
on
know
here.
What's going on? Because you're really riding his coattail, and you don't really need to be because you're kind of
No.
making your way up, too.
No. That's a tough.
Yeah.
Well, because the ladies are tough, too. But, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. Rose must be fighting soon. Rose Namajunas. She's
She's a
you know,
badass.
Yeah.
God, she's
Love
badass.
Rose. But I don't know when she's fighting because it's kind of now it's at that weird time of the International Fight Week in July. It's like, we'll push this back. We'll push this back. It's like, hey, does John Jones still exist? What's
Yeah.
Stipe doing?
Uh-huh.
Why are they not fighting each other?
Yeah, that'd be cool to watch. I'd watch that fight. I mean, I wouldn't unless somebody else pays for it, but I'd watch that fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's fucking Stipe and
Yeah.
the probably greatest fighter ever.
That's just an absolute douchebag.
Yeah, just a bad
Just
human.
a bad human.
But
Yeah,
boy, is he good.
God, is he good.
Boy, is that family talented.
Oh, my God.
2 Super Bowl rings, a fucking
Like
how many
heavyweight
world
champions.
championships, and then Chandler.
Yep, exactly. Playing for the Raiders.
Yeah. Maybe you can win something someday.
Yeah. He won a Super Bowl.
Did he get
He
one?
was one of the Patriots when he was
Did he?
there. Yeah. Yeah, I believe the. Ooh. Maybe not. Because he'd been too young to be whatever the first one after the Giants. I think he was on that
thinking
team.
he didn't. I was thinking
might
his
not
brother did, though.
His brother won one with the Ravens the year
Yeah.
they beat the Niners.
But maybe. But here is a Patriot thing that I seen.
Yeah.
And more of a Tom Brady thing. In between Tom Brady's first and last Super Bowl, Troy Polamalu was drafted, retired, and elected into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Isn't that fucking crazy? Holy shit. I saw that too.
When I seen that, I'm like, oh my God, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, he's fucking nuts.
Had a Hall of Fame career. Waited 5 years, got inducted. Brady wins another Super Bowl.
It's crazy. When they beat the Seahawks.
Okay.
He was on that team. Yeah.
But yeah, when I seen that, I'm like, because not like he didn't have a short career. Like he played for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had what did he play? 12? Did he play 12 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So 12 years. So 17 years.
Yeah. Him and Carson Palmer were drafted the same
Yeah.
year. Yeah. Played on the same team together.
Drafted, played a whole career, won 2 Super Bowls, retired, inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Mm.
Tom Brady bookended it with Super Bowls.
Yep. And still fucking playing.
And still going.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I wish he wouldn't have came back because I feel like they're not going to get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like the Thunder's out of there.
Mm-hmm. Now, they did all they could to get everybody back. I mean,
Yeah.
they did a good job doing that, but it's like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
It just
The
feels
Rams,
like it's
the Rams
tough.
are just there. You know,
And it's hard to go back to back when you're talking about the Rams. But
well, it's the Rams. They're in the same fucking.
and they got better.
Yeah, they got better.
I mean, and you said, well, they lost Vaughn. It's like, he didn't, you know.
No, it's not. They were good
He wasn't
without him.
anything, you know.
Yeah, he did a great job in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But that's
about it.
That's about
and
it.
They'll find somebody if
Yeah.
they need him.
Yeah, they'll trade for somebody in
Nothing's
this season.
real.
Yeah. I mean,
we
later
still got picks in 2065. Let's get rid of them.
Yeah. I mean, there's still old pass rushers that you can pick up. Melvin Ingram's still out there if you need somebody for just third down plays. I mean, there's Justin Houston still out there. He did the same thing for the Ravens last year. He was just a package guy. I mean, there's people out there if they really want somebody.
Yeah, it's tough seeing it that I don't see anybody in the NFC besides the Rams.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough to talk about that now because everything changes every other day. They'll add 2 more fucking Hall of Famers by the time we're.
Stephon Gilmore will be on their team by the fucking draft.
I mean, they're going to end up signing fucking Tyron Matthews.
Yeah, probably.
Weddle led him in fucking tackles in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, guy hadn't played football in 3 years. I mean, now that resets his Hall of Fame campaign.
Yeah, I know it does.
I mean, is he?
I don't think he's a Hall of Famer.
He's there. I mean, he was fucking great for a long time.
He had like 6 good years in a row.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh my God, where'd this guy come from?
Yeah.
Like his 2 years with San Diego was like, where the fuck this guy come from? And then he went to the Ravens, like, this guy's still really fucking good.
Yeah.
Fuck him. He didn't wear gloves.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Andrew Whitworth, 100%, yeah.
100% Hall of Famer.
He's going it. He'll go in as a Ram. That pissed me off.
He may not.
He got a ring.
I know, but
He's
he may
a big
not.
though.
Yeah.
We don't have any. We only have one.
One. Yeah. Who is that? Oh, Munoz. Yeah.
He might be the greatest ever.
Yeah, he's the best Bengal of all time.
Might be the greatest player.
Oh, yeah.
Offensive lineman wise.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. It's up there. It's a close It's if you're not voting for him,
it's probably, and they don't even play the same. If you're just talking offensive line, it's probably Munoz, Marshall Yonda.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in that area.
You got to throw like Pace up there and, the other guys. Yeah. Yonda's not even Hall of Fame yet, but he will be.
Yeah, he's got he'll weigh 112 pounds by the time he fucking gets there. Keep riding that goddamn bike.
God damn. Well, fuck, when Faneca got his acceptance and he's in, I'm like, who is that guy?
Oh, he was a lineman that weighed 300 pounds.
Yeah. Huh? What, really?
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's the show.
Whiteside!